Tonight with Jelly 007, Great Northern beans and some country ham in the Instant Pot. Hey, gone are the days of when you used to come home and say, I'd love to have some beans tonight. Not going to happen because I didn't soak them. Yeah, you can do it now in a very short time. I'm going to show you that, but I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do half of these. That whole 12-ounce pack of country ham. Put them in here, cover them about 1 3/4 inches worth of water, and turn it on for about 30 minutes. Be right back when we get that started. Get this over with. There's how I do mine. I don't get real picky. I just spread them out. I get the worst looking ones. I got like 4 out of there. I mean, it's nothing to dwell on. That's a half of that 2-pound bag, so that's around 1 pound. Again, that's 12 ounces. I don't get real picky on my beans. I don't rinse my beans. You can if you want to. A lot of people do. I don't. I think it adds a little gravy, or whatever you want to say to them. So, especially in the Instant Pot, they don't seem to do gravy as well in pressure cooking as they do when you cook them in a crock pot. Just my opinion, but they are absolutely fantastic. And as I said, no soaking. You do have to look for rocks. Even an Instant Pot won't cook a rock. So you got to get the rocks out if there is. I rarely find a rock, but you always hear people say they do. So anyhow, we're going to get these in there and make it happen. Okay, so there's how it looks with the ham and the beans, about 1.5 inches of water. Then I added that ham, and I kind of broke up the ham a little bit. And it's country ham. I don't think it needs any oil, but everybody stresses it because they say it keeps it from foaming. You don't want it foaming in your Instant Pot because it gets in your vent. So there we go. I'm fixing to set this on there. In fact, set this in here, and we're going to go for 30 minutes. And that's going to be it. We're going to cook it for 30 minutes. Find this lid. And close that vent. We're going to hit pressure cook for 30 minutes. And we are there. So what I get at is people make it way too complicated. You know, I added 1.5 inches or so of water. You want to cover them, you know, a good bit, at least that much, you know, or that much. If you got too much, you know, if it turns out if it turns out too dry, maybe you could do something. But you want to have enough because you don't want it getting dry. But then if it is too liquidy, use that word a lot. But if it gets too liquidy, you just leave the lid off and let it cook down a little bit if you don't like that. But it's fine like that. But anyhow, we're going to see what happens here in a little bit. I'll bring y'all back and show you. Okay, time is up. And I'm going to do a quick release. The reason is because if they're not done, it's not a big deal to just put the lid back on and fire them back up. I'd rather them be underdone than I had them be overdone. So we're going to do a quick release. And this is when I will add pepper. I won't be adding any salt to that, I imagine. It's a country ham, and it'll be plenty salty. I do love salt. You would definitely have to adjust that unless you're like me, a person who really loves salt and country ham. So anyhow, that being said, we're going to let that bleed down, and then we'll open it up. All right, there we go. Pin just dropped. So we're going to see what they look like. And there they are. And they look excellent. They will be, I guarantee you. Maybe a little extra liquid, but take my word, that cooks down without a problem. I mean, you're gonna not have to worry about that. The main thing we gotta worry about now is whether they're done. So I'm gonna set one out, and I'm actually gonna let them cool just a second. I mean, you can see, and then again, you know, I wasn't sure if I was focusing on that real well, but that right there is just about a good meal. I mean, with some cornbread, that's as good as it gets. It is. I might have had a little more water in there than I had to have, but it'll cook down. All I do is leave that lid off and leave it leave that warming feature on, and it'll be where I want it. But that would work right there. Just anyhow, we're gonna let those cool just a second, get an idea, and actually they're not going to cool. I'm gonna eat them now, and it's not going to hurt to let them cook down a little bit. They're still just a slight bit crunchy. So I'm going to put the lid back on. I'm going to add some water. Add some pepper at this point. And I'm going to put the lid back on and go another, say, 5 minutes. It won't take it long to come back up because it's all already hot. So I'd rather be underdone than I had to be overdone. But anyhow, Be right back. Okay, got the lid back on. I added some pepper, and I'll be honest with you, I ate a few of them, and they're not too salty. They're not that bad. The ham adds flavor and some salt, but you might even, you wouldn't want to add any till you tried it. But anyhow, it's not as bad as you would think, in other words. But we're going to go with 5 more minutes, and it shouldn't take it very long at all to come up to pressure. Everything's hot. So that'd be a total of 35 minutes, and I assure you they'll be ready at that point. And then, like I said, leave the lid off if you want them to cook down some of that liquid. It's simple. It's obvious. You can even hit saute. It'll help it cook down even further, even faster, I mean. But anyhow, there you go. All right, what I would say, I mean, really, it's crazy not to do it this way. I mean, cook him short because the pin was up, and I probably should have timed it. I didn't, but it was just literally minutes. I mean, everything's already hot. So, I mean, you cook them short time, and you can adjust to doneness a lot. You can't undercook. You can't take something you've overcooked and fix it, but you can fix undercooked. But anyhow, we're going to do a quick release again, and then we're going to put some in a bowl. I got a feeling they're going to be right, but we'll see. Okay, the pan just dropped for the second time, and that is what they look like. And they look fantastic. Now, I mean, I had a sister-in-law. I miss her dearly, but we came to the same conclusion years ago. They're not quite the same as cooking in a crock pot all day. But you can see they're pretty close. I mean, they really are. You don't get what I'm calling the gravy. I'm not sure if there's a proper term. I don't know what it is. But that's why I don't wash them. That's why I don't pick out the half beans and all. I've even seen people on YouTube crush them up, mash them. Take a half cup out and mash them. And they're trying to get back to that crock pot, which, again, they're not identical to crock pot beans. But I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing wrong with them. They're good, and they're fast. And I'm probably an hour and a half in here, maybe. Not, overnight. So, I'm going to set a bowl of these out just a minute. I'm going to let them cool. And if I had some cornbread, and I probably should have, but I don't, this would be the ultimate meal. And you can see, there's nothing wrong with them. There's really not. In fact, the gravy's not even really bad. I got a little extra liquid in there. I could have made it maybe an inch above. You can adjust all you want. But there you go. And I feel positive these will be, and they are. They're perfect. And once they sit a little bit, they'll get even better. But I'm trying to find something where I can kind of show what they would look like to you, where you can kind of get an idea. And I mean, you can see. Probably easier to see than it is to try and explain. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They're great. And if you compare them to your crock pot beans, they're going to be different. There's no doubt. But an hour and a half versus overnight. But anyhow, I'm fixing to eat those. And believe it or not, with that country ham in there, that most people would say that's way too much country ham or whatever. They're not that salty. Neither is the ham. It really works well, and you should try it. That's if you like salt. I mean, you can taste the salt. But that all being said and done, you see what we got. Hour and a half dried beans. Anyhow, in the kitchen with Jelly. Oh, Jelly 007. And y'all come back to see me. Like and subscribe if you don't mind. And that is Great Northern Beans with country ham in an Instant Pot. Y'all have a good night.